Hi. So I have cut off five people out of my life till now, and to be very frank, they all five were very good of my friends. And every single time, the only regret I had was that why didn't I cut them any earlier? Okay, so let me share something very personal with you here. So, friend number one, which is also the most recent case in which I have wholeheartedly ended a 8-year relationship, I mean friendship of mine. Okay, so she was kind of my college bestie, especially the hostel bestie. And I was going through a very rough time in my life. I was struggling through some mental health issues, to be very frank. And I'll be very honest with you guys here that I am taking therapy. And the biggest misconception in India is that people do not even care about mental health. They just treat it like some, I don't know what. They don't even treat it. And I wonder what will people do if somebody is like bone is cracked or something. They will take that person to a doctor. That messes up with our brain on an intense level. So that's when the mental health issues start to develop. And in that case also the person requires medical help. But mental health in India is a very big taboo. So I was in that phase of my life where I was started taking therapy. So I didn't tell my family anything, but that friend of mine, that bestie of mine, knew about that stuff. And I was on medication. So my mom called that bestie of mine and she interrogated her whether Shelza is taking medications or I don't know what conversation was going on between both of them. And suddenly that bestie of mine was very interested in my mental health. And I asked her what happened, why are you investigating me so much? So I had an intuition back then that my mother has seen the medication and a very big scene was created at my home, and just because of the papers, the medical papers, that I am on a therapy right now, a huge chaos, a huge scene was created at my home, and she spilled everything in front of my mother, despite of the fact that I have told her multiple times that I am really going through a very difficult phase right now and I don't want any other scene to be created at my home. And I knew that if my family got to know that I'm going to take therapy, then a huge scene will be created. So I told her specifically that if you are going to tell my mom, because she was investigating me a lot, my bestie was investigating me a lot just because my mom has told her to do so. Because if someone is already going through so much that they had to take therapy, you're not supposed to add to their burdens. You're not supposed to add to their pain, especially if they're begging you not to do so. And I have told that girl multiple times that you telling my mom about my medications and my therapy is gonna create a huge problem for me at my home, because I have been grown up in a very chaotic household. It's still very chaotic and I didn't want extra drama. But guess what she did? She told my mom everything. Everything. So if I reverse the case, if any of my friend is going through any kind of pain and they're begging me not to do a specific act because it will add to their pain, so I will not do that. And she did that to me even after multiple times, me asking her not to do so. That devastated me. That created a lot of pain, extra pain in my life from my family side. And yeah, I felt very betrayed, even though she was sorry. But at some point of life, we have to come to a conclusion that forgiving and reconciliation are two different things. We can forgive a person, but we do not have to give them the same access to our lives as they were having before. So that was the friend number one, whom I had cut off all the access to my life. And I'm very proud of myself because I don't need people in my life who are, having the sense of betraying me. I don't want that. The second incident is also very intense. It's very difficult for me even to talk about these stuff because it gives me a lot of flashbacks and nostalgia, which is not a very good thing. Anyways, so there was a time in my life when I was having a lot of self harm thoughts. And there were also some people in my life who were creating a lot of difficulties in my life, like threats and all of that stuff. So I was in a position where I could unalive myself. That night, I was so panicked that I just opened up my phone and started to scroll the names of my friends, and I clicked one of my friends who is again not in my life right now, And I texted them. I said, I'm having self harming thoughts and I think I could unalive myself. So please talk to me for a little while so that I can distract myself for a little while because I was very afraid of myself. I could have done anything bad to myself. They saw the message and choose not to respond. Can you imagine? Like, if I have no words for that. Suppose that I am going on a street, okay, and some stranger comes to me and says that I am having self harming thoughts or that the thoughts that I'm gonna unalive myself, then I will do anything in my capacity to help that person. And if I am saying a person that he or she is my best friend and they are not even little bit affected by the fact that I am feeling, I don't know what to say anymore. I don't know why am I even calling them my friend. Till this day, that person has not texted me even a single line about how are you or are you even alive or not. I'm speechless. See, it's not about people's actions. It's about I keep myself in their positions and see that if my friends were in that kind of problems, then I would have responded totally differently. And the responses that I get are not even humane. I would say that. Because what kind of person would like to, ignore you at the time when you are about to unalive yourself? What kind of human would add to your pain when you're already going through so much that you have to take therapy? So he was the second person that I had to cut off from my life and I deleted their contacts and all of that and I did, yeah. Call me selfish, but yeah, I did that. Let me tell you another incident. So there was an ex best friend of mine. We were meeting almost after 4 to 5 years and we were sitting in a mall. Okay. So we are meeting after 4 to 5 years. So my priority was to, spend some good quality time together and all of that stuff. But I'm also into taking pictures and all. So we both were clicking pictures, clicking selfies together. We were clicking each other's picture. And when she was clicking my picture, the pictures were good and good in the sense that they were not blurry. They were perfect pictures. But that was also the time after COVID lockdown and yeah, I was not in a good situation. So my hands were kind of shaky all the time. I couldn't even hold the camera properly, hold the phone properly. So whenever I was clicking her pictures, they were a little blurry because my hands were unstable. And in that moment, she just took the phone, deleted all my pictures just because they were good and hers were not being clicked good. And that was not even my conscious choice. My hands were trembling. She deleted all the pictures and she threw the phone onto the table. Jealousy at its peak. Now you may think that it's a very small incident to take this big of a judgment. But see, it's always the small things. It's always the small things that show how people are jealous of you, how people are feeling resentful towards you, and how people do not respect you. Okay, disrespect also comes in very small forms. Okay, it's not always some grand gestures that tell you that that person is jealous of you or that person has disrespected you. These stuff doesn't come in grand gestures. These are in little actions. So yeah, at that point of time my brain went blank and the only thing that came up to my mind was, if the person whom I call my best friend cannot even take my good pictures, and especially in a case where she is not able to get good pictures, then how would she be able to digest my success? So in that moment, I decided to end that friendship off because I cannot tolerate jealous energy around me. As simple as that. And the fourth friendship that I had to cut off was a C. You get to know who are your real friends when you start something new. For example, when you start your YouTube channel, or you start learning any new skill, or you launch a new business. This is the time where you get to know who is in real supporting you or not. And it's not even about supporting, it's about who is even trying to pull you down. See, if you cannot help a person to rise up in life, then you have no right, absolutely zero right to try to pull them down. So there was a time when I started learning guitar because I just like to hum and sing a lot. So what I did was I was continuously playing guitar and continuously singing and posting those videos on my YouTube channel. There was a friend of mine whom I considered a very good friend of mine. She started to show resentment of some kind. I don't know. She started to call a bunch of different things to me, which were very derogatory and very disrespectful, by the way. She called me the cheap copy of a very famous singer. She told me not to sing because it hurt her ears, etc. etc. Now, the thing is not whether I sing good or the bad. The thing is, your friends are not supposed to lower down your confidence. Your friends are not supposed to pass the most derogatory comments. I think this is friendship. Because whenever any friend of mine launches a new business or does something new, I'm totally in of supporting them. It doesn't even matter whether I like the content they're creating or not. I just support them. And the fifth incident was he was a very good school friend of mine. We had such a great bond, but he decided to doubt my intentions. Intentions specifically that I am trying to harm his relationships or his friendships with others, which was never my motive. And he ghosted me completely for 6 months straight. And in the whole 6 months of span, I was just trying to reach him and call him and text him that I haven't done anything. Why are you treating me like that? Why are you ghosting me? Why are you not talking to me? Because we were on not talking terms for a very long period of time, and it was affecting me that my friend is misunderstanding me. But in that 6 month of span where I was being ghosted, I realized that if any misunderstanding is happening and if the another person want to resolve that, then he or she will talk to me. But if a person is not even receiving your calls, seeing your messages, then he or she doesn't want the reconciliation. This is a sign, guys. This is a sign. Move on. Cut that friendship off. And that was not enough. After 6 months, he came like nothing has happened. And I'm like, it's not gonna happen. Either you apologize or you just get off my life. You have to see what you have done, you have to acknowledge what you have done, and you have to apologize for all the pain that we are human beings and we learn through experiences. So it is what it is, I mean. See, one thing that happens very commonly is whenever something bad happens to us or anything that is not acceptable, we keep thinking that maybe we are overreacting, maybe people will change, maybe this, maybe that, but that doesn't happen. In my life, I have realized that being considerate or being thoughtful is not a very superhuman skill. No, it's not. It's very much ingrained in everyone. It's just a matter of choice. People know exactly what they are doing to you. And if they are continuously choosing to hurt you by their actions or by their words, then you need to understand that it's not acceptable at all. There's a quote that I absolutely love. It says, "Stop being so considerate in the situations where you are not even being considered." Also, cutting someone off doesn't mean you hate them. It's just that you don't want them to have access to your life that they previously had. You can forgive someone, but still decide not to, give the same version of yourself to them. Okay, guys, now you tell me if you are having any of the similar stories or the incidents in the comment section, and I'll see you in another video. Till then, take care of yourself and bye bye.